I wake up at 5 a.m., just like I have for the past 3 years. Not because I want to, but because it's the only hour that belongs to me. The rest of the day, every breath, every movement is spoken for. I pad through the hallway in socks, careful not to wake Vivica's youngest. One creak in this old Portland house, and I'd have a screaming toddler in my arms before sunrise. I start the coffee, put in a load of laundry, prep breakfast, oatmeal, bananas, almond butter toast. None of it for me. They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes it's the water that saves you from drowning. By 7 o'clock, the house is chaos. Kids screaming, Vivica barking, Mom complaining about the garbage. I slip out the back door like a ghost, heading to my job at the school. No one notices. No one says goodbye. I was once the top of my class. Psychology major. Full scholarship. But that dream sits in a box under my bed, next to college acceptance letters I never mailed. Instead, I'm here, 34, single, broke, and called selfish if I don't help my family. My room is the last square foot I own. The only space in this house where no one yells my name. Where I can breathe. Most nights, I lie awake wondering what it would cost to leave. Not in dollars, though that matters too, but in guilt, in silence, in loneliness. That night at dinner, Mom drops it like it's nothing. If you're not going to watch the kids full time, she says, sipping her tea, then you'll need to pay rent. $900. That's the going rate around here. I blink. Vivica doesn't say a word, but there's a flicker at the corner of her mouth. She knew. I nod. That's what I do. I nod. But inside me, something shifts. Something heavy slides off a shelf and crashes to the floor of my chest. I don't say a word, but I remember. When Vivica's husband left her, Mom paid for the lawyers, the moving truck, the therapist. Me. I got a bill. $900. That's the price of my freedom, apparently. In that moment, I realized I was never the daughter. I was the help. Would you stay and obey, or risk everything to reclaim your life? It's past midnight when I sneak down the hall. I just want water. Instead, I get truth. She won't leave, Mom whispers. She can't afford it. Vivica chuckles. We'll raise the rent again if we have to. That'll keep her stuck. I stop breathing. That's not care. That's strategy. I tiptoe back to my room. Write one sentence in my notebook, not trapped. Caged. I remember high school. That scholarship to NYU. I came home, floating, glowing. Mom said stay close. Family first. So I did. And here I am. I open Craigslist on my phone. Type in studio apartment. I don't know what I'm looking for yet. Maybe proof there's a way out. Ever realize someone kept you close, not out of love, but control? A week later, I get the email. Interview. Portland Public Schools. Counseling position. My heart stutters. This is it. Finally. A door cracks open. I put on my best shirt, gather my documents, and step into the hallway. Vivica's there. In full glam, purse on shoulder. I've got errands, she says, and dumps her kids into my arms. You're not going anywhere. One of them is warm. Feverish. I sit down. Cancel the interview. Cry quietly in the bathroom when the rejection email hits that evening. I've missed 1,000 things in my life, but that one broke something. Because it wasn't just mine, I could have helped kids. Made a difference. Dolores throws a family dinner that weekend. Aunts, uncles, cousins. She stands up, wine glass in hand. Naomi's agreed to help Vivica full-time, she announces. Vivica raises her glass. Family values, someone says. She's doing the noble thing, Mom adds. I stare into my plate. Lena, my 10-year-old niece, leans over and whispers to her cousin, just loud enough. Mom says Naomi's only here because nobody wants her. The fork slips from my hand. Everyone turns. I stand. Chair screeches. I walk out. Back in my room, I punch my pillow until my knuckles ache. They've made me invisible. Have you ever wanted to scream, but knew no one would really listen? Later that night, Lena walks in with a drawing, stick figures, a house, someone crying on the steps. She looks up at me. Do you think people can leave if nobody loves them? I hug her, tight, say nothing. My eyes stay open, looking past her, seeing everything. This isn't just happening to me. It's starting again through her. That night, I packed a bag I hoped I'd never need. I kept the bag beneath my bed, tucked behind old tax returns and childhood trophies no one remembered I had. Each night after work, I added to it. Slowly, quietly, a pair of jeans here, a toothbrush wrapped in a sock, cash folded small hidden inside a vitamin bottle. At work, I browsed apartments on the school computer, clearing my history every hour. I didn't trust Mom not to check. I didn't trust anyone anymore. I stopped writing things down. Addresses, phone numbers, I memorized them like prayers. I took flattened cardboard boxes from the copy room and slid them under my coat as I left. At night, I went through my closet, holding things up like courtroom evidence. Was this mine? Did I ask for it? Or was it a gift wrapped in guilt? Every item I keep is another reason to stay, I told myself. So I started throwing things away. Have you ever prepared for something you hoped would never happen, but knew it had to? The night before I left, I wrote a letter. I folded it twice, neat and sharp, and left it on the dining table under a cold cup of tea. I didn't expect a reply, but I needed to say it, to say that I'd given all I could, and now it was time to live my own life. I poured my heart into that page. Dolores found it at dawn. I heard her through the wall. Paper ripping. A mutter. Naomi always had a flair for drama. She never read past the first paragraph. I'll never know if she understood, but I stopped hoping that understanding was part of love. Have you ever written the truth and feared it would be ignored or worse, used against you? The next morning, my phone buzzed relentlessly. 30, 40, then 60 notifications. My heart pounded before I even looked. Vivica had posted, Naomi walked out. My kids are crying. My mother is heartbroken. I have no one. Comment after comment poured in. Shameful. Ungrateful. What kind of woman abandons her family? Even my co-workers chimed in. One text read, "Wow, I didn't know you had that side to you." I stared at the screen, hands shaking, not crying, just silent. I took screenshots of everything. Then I turned the phone over and faced the wall. They could say whatever they wanted. I wouldn't give them my voice, too. Dolores and Vivica showed up at my door that evening. I hadn't given them the address, but of course they found it. Lena was with them. Vivica had her phone out, already recording. "Why did you leave me?" Lena sobbed. "Mom says you don't love us anymore." I knelt, hugged her, whispered, "This isn't your fault." Vivica stood over us like a judge. "You tore this family apart." I didn't argue, didn't explain. I just stood up, walked past them, closed the door. Outside, neighbors peeked through blinds. The camera lens watched me disappear. Can love still exist in manipulation? When a child becomes a pawn, who do you protect? At the airport, my suitcase clicked against the tiles. My phone rang again. Vivica's voice, sharp as glass. Lena's in the hospital. She's dying. If you don't come, it's on you. I froze mid-step, heart racing. Bombshvet. A message popped up from Ellen, my old co-worker at the clinic. Lena's fine. Just a cough. Nothing serious. I felt something crack, open inside. A dam breaking. I exhaled hard, long, violent. That was the last manipulation. The final line they were willing to cross. I walked toward the gate, hands shaking, knees barely stable, but I walked. On the plane, the air felt different, lighter. I closed my eyes. My professor once said, "You can't grow in the same soil that buried you." I didn't look back out the window. They never expected me to leave. That's why I had to. I slept the whole flight. But silence, even 3,000 miles away, doesn't mean they let go. Santa Fe didn't ask questions. That's what I loved about it first. The landlord handed me the keys without a single comment on why I moved with no references, no furniture, just a duffel bag and a cardboard box. I started working remotely for a charter school within days. Same duties, different backdrop. I bought a coffee maker. I met Clara, my aunt on my dad's side, who offered space, not advice. The neighbor across the hall smiled once, then never again. Perfect. Every night I wrote. Things I wasn't allowed to say before. Sentences that would have caused eruptions in that Portland house. I wrote about the rage, the shame, the strange guilt of finally choosing myself. One night at an art walk, a little girl danced barefoot in front of a jazz trio, and I felt it joy. Soft, unannounced. I whispered to myself, it's still possible, even after theft. I stayed off social media, but screenshots didn't need permission. One came from an old classmate, a link to a Facebook group, family torn apart. My name was in the banner. What helped you begin again after you were emotionally burned? I stared at that group for 2 more days. Then I posted 2 minutes of audio. Dolores's voice, clear and sharp, saying she's just a burden. Naomi's good for chores, not much else. It was from a dinner I'd recorded months ago. Not for revenge. Just to remind myself I wasn't crazy. Then I uploaded screenshots of Vivica's texts. If she doesn't babysit, she pays rent. Her choice. Then a photo slideshow. Journal entries dated over the years. Today she said I was ungrateful for not cooking. Vivica left both kids with me again. Last slide. Lena crying on my lap while Ava yelled in the background. Caption: this is the family I left. Not because I don't care, but because I finally did. It went viral. Shares, comments, apologies. Even the local Santa Fe paper picked it up. Messages poured in, some from strangers, some from women who said, your story is mine, too. Have you ever had to prove your truth when no one believed you the first time? 3 days later, I got a message from someone I didn't recognize. A woman named Carissa, Vivica's former coworker. Screenshots. Vivica texting, why pay for a sitter when Naomi's too scared to leave? And I told Mom to raise rent. It'll trap her. Works every time. I posted those too. Caption: I wasn't the plan. I was the price. The group turned. The same voices who once called me selfish now defended me. Women messaged with stories of their own cages. Men wrote, this opened my eyes. Dolores deleted her account. Vivica went private. And I exhaled. Validation is a strange kind of quiet, like snowfall after a siren. One afternoon, as I printed lesson plans, the receptionist buzzed, Naomi, someone's here for you. Dolores. She didn't say hello. Just, you need to come home. Fix this family. Clara stood behind me before I could answer. Your daughter isn't your therapist or your nanny. I met Dolores's eyes. No anger. Just clarity. I'm not yours to command anymore. I walked her to the door. She didn't fight it. Just stood there. Smaller than I remembered. The next day, co-workers treated me differently. Not like a victim. Not like a rebel. Just someone they finally saw. Weeks passed. Then a letter arrived. Crayon scribbles. Dear Aunt Naomi, I miss you. I know Mom made me lie. Love, Lena. Inside was a drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands under a big green tree. I didn't cry from pain. I cried because someone finally told the truth. I didn't write back, but I placed the letter in my journal. You can break cycles without burning everyone in them. I walk to work now without headphones. I don't hide from my thoughts anymore. They tried to control my story, so I wrote my own. Clara watches from the porch, tea in hand. She doesn't say anything, just smiles. But when Lena shows up alone at my doorstep one rainy night, I have to make a choice again.